Welcome back. This is Queen Homegirl, and I have a new video for you today. This one is called It's a Sign. And I thought that this would be a good video idea because, I really feel like God, out of His mercy, just speaks my language. And I appreciate it. And I am just so grateful that He comes to my level and just lets me know that He is with me as I journey through this life that He has given me. And I know the Bible says that, an evil and adulterous generation asks for a sign, and that, we will not get a sign except through Jonah. That's in the book of Matthew. But, I'm not asking for a sign. I just am really praising God for, Him just knowing me and letting me know that He is with me in, unique ways. So I'm sure that you have your own unique relationship with God and that you have noticed that He is, speaking to you as well. So with this video, I decided to, take a practical approach and actually use signage as a part of, the content, just to get the point across that, signage is a version of a sign. I just really made it literal. And then also I have to confess, that I did use a lot of footage from, like older videos. So you may see some footage that you recognize. I just thought it would be good to get some of the footage that I had from driving around. And then some of the stock footage I've used as well in a later part of the video. But I just thought, let's just put it all together, talk about, how God speaks to us. And, it's just different for everyone. Whatever it is that you're into, that's what God is going to use to speak to you. So it's going to be different for everybody. People sometimes try to give advice, but I'm like, the advice that people need is different because we're all so different. So you might say, you need to be more forgiving, but it's like, if you're already super sweet, then maybe that's not the advice you need. Maybe the advice is that you need to let people know that you are not the one. And that's kind of a little ode to a former video about you are the one. Anyway, I just thought that it would be good to just acknowledge God and the language that He speaks. I've also, been looking through some of my old textbooks, and I was reading about Athanasius, and there's a few things that he's known for, but one of the things that he mentioned in his writings was just like how God, how we need, for God to come down to where we are, and how, in ministry, we also need whoever is in ministry to meet the people where they are, not to say that we're just lowly at the bottom, but, we are where we are, and we really need, to kind of get a message that really resonates with us and is really going to help us because, we just, are where we are, and we're all growing, and we're all, different, and we have different strengths and weaknesses. And in one way we are just, a genius, and in another way we are just, falling short. So we all have some growing to do, and it's just wonderful if if we can help each other grow, if we can be there for each other. But today's video is just about talking about how God is there for us, and how God really, just meets us where we are, and He just is so just genius and amazing and merciful, because we could feel alone, But, God lets us know that we are not alone. And He just, comes to our rescue. And He knows how unique we are. He knows how we think. He knows what's going to work for us. And out of His mercy, He just, reaches us. And like I said, it's different for everyone. So it would be really interesting to kind of know, how people kind of see God speaking to them in their lives. But, it's a personal thing, and it's really, between us and God. So yeah, but I'm sure that you are in touch with God. I mean, if you're, watching my video, you're more than likely one of those people who just, has God in their heart and, is just trying to hear God and follow God and, be in God's will. And that's, those ideas can be different for different people. So I know my life is unique, and, it probably will take an open-minded person to really understand me. But, it's all good, I understand me. And as long as we understand ourselves, that's what's most important, because the best thing we can do is offer people our best selves. And so if we're at peace with ourselves and have, self-love and, just understanding and, who we're supposed to be, we're going to be such a blessing for other people, because they're going to meet someone who, is at peace. And that's what, we want to be. And that's the kind of people that we want to meet. We want to meet people who are at peace. I mean, unless, our purpose in their life is to be healing for them. And then, in that case, we meet people who are not at peace. And hopefully we can help them achieve inner peace. And hopefully they can help us too. It's not a one-way street, even though that's what some of the signs say. You're just gonna have to excuse my cheesiness, but I'm well-meaning, and I think that's what it's mostly all about, is being well-meaning, well-intentioned, and walking in love. So anyway, I hope that you are enjoying, the way God is reaching out to you. I know I am. I'm so grateful for Him. And yeah, just wanted to share that with you. So have a good one, and thank you so much for watching my video. Please like, subscribe, and share, and see you next time. Bye.